Hello people, welcome to my channel Subi's Art. This is my first ever video upload. My videos are for beginners who are new to resin just like me, and I intend to share my experiences, what I learned from these resin projects, so that you guys don't make the same mistakes when you do the resins. So first of all, I would like to talk about the safety procedures. Resin is a chemical substance and can cause allergic reactions on your skin if you don't handle it properly. So you need to have all safety precautions in place. So the rooms need to be well ventilated in the first place, and use safety gloves and gas masks if necessary. And you can also use an apron to avoid accidental spillage on your clothes. You'll find all sorts of resins in the market or online. So I'm using here an art epoxy resin. It is from Epoke. For a better shelf life, you can store these epoxy resin under room temperature, or you should ensure that it doesn't fall below 24 degrees centigrade. All resins tend to go yellowish in color over a long period of time. So when you buy, try to get UV resistant resins, and my advice would be to close the lid immediately after you take out the resin. Close the lid immediately so that there is no direct exposure to sunlight. Most of the stuffs that I'm using here are bought online, mostly from Amazon. So I'll be leaving a description in the link in the description box below so that you guys can find it easily. After mixing the resin, we should give it some time. We should keep it aside for around 30 to 35 minutes so that the resin can get heated up and come to the desired level of temperature. Okay, because if you use the resin immediately, then you might not be getting the desired result on your project. The resin will not be ready for you to work upon. Proper mixing of the resin is very important, and this is where most of the projects fail. Resin usually gets self-leveled. If effective mixing of resin doesn't happen, then towards the end you will find that there are spots or blank areas in the project where the resin hasn't leveled itself. You might have to then consider applying one more layer of resin to save the entire project. And talking about the self-leveling properties of the resin reminds me of one more important aspect that we need to take care, and that is with regards to the surface area where we work upon. We need to ensure that the surface area or the table that we are using is not inclined in any manner. So before you start doing the resin, measure the level of the surface area for any kind of inclination using a level measuring device, which you can easily get from any hardware store. An alternative option to that is, now that most of us are having smartphones, you can get number of level measuring applications to download from internet, and you can use them. use a popsicle to go through the edges, so that will help you to get rid of all the air bubbles which are stuck onto the edges. While using the torch, you need to be extra careful. Always go in a circular motion so that you're not concentrating on a single part of the project, and you can easily pop up all the bubbles when you go in a circular motion, and otherwise you will end up ruining the project by damaging the mold. You can also use a heat gun instead of the flame torch, which will be much more safer, and it will also help you in giving a good mix of the different two layers. It will help you in distributing the colors in a very good way. Resin will always tend to pull from the outside towards the center, so that is why you will find my black is closing in and overshadowing the blue color. So that is why I am adding one more layer of the peacock blue, so that I can prevent it, or rather get the desired effect. Here clearly you see that my black is taking over and overpowering the blue, which was not I intended. So that's a mistake that has happened from my part. You should understand which is the stronger color, and I should have used less of black and more of blue to get the desired effect. But nevertheless, the end result turned out very well, and I was very happy with the end result. And as it is said that the beauty lies in the eyes of the perceiver. So yes, the black turned out to give a good and richer look to the project. You can see me adding the lines of gold, and eventually I'll be adding lines of white. But it turned out that I didn't realize that these are heavy pigments. The white and gold are heavy pigments, so I should have waited for at least 2 to 3 hours, or even maybe 5 hours, until it gets a little more harder, and then before adding, because most of the white and gold, it sank to the bottom. It's always handy and useful to keep a paper towel and baby wipes always with you, because most of the items that you're using, you can reuse them. Not the paper cups, but even the popsicle sticks, you can just wipe them off with the baby wipes, and you can reuse them for the next projects. You must have noticed by this time that most of the white and gold that I have added have already sunk to the bottom. The reason being, initially when I took the pigments, I took a lot of pigment, and it's very important that you know the right quantity of pigment. So you just take a little bit, and because these are heavy pigments, so they tend to go down. So you can just use a little bit, and that will go a long way. Here you will find me adding one more layer of clear resin, so that I can prevent the closing in of the dominant colors. So it also gives a dramatic look. I deeply apologize guys for not filming the entire video. I promise that I'll be capturing the next video in full. So keep looking forward for my next video, which will be coming out shortly.